Good evening. It's just a minute before 6, but we want to go ahead and get started. It is so nice to have a room full of people with us tonight. And I know there's a couple of groups here, but this is our only December meeting. We have just one in December usually because of the holidays. And I've talked to several of the art teachers, and I know that they're ready for the holidays, as we all are. But it is nice to have all of y'all tonight. If you will, join me if you'd like to. We begin all of our meetings with a moment of silence, so I invite you to do that with me now. Amen. Thank you. And now if you'll stand, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have two special groups here tonight for recognition, and at this time I'm going to let Dr. Thorsland introduce them.
Sure. We are very happy to have our district art teachers with us tonight. And one of them, I'm not sure who, had the idea of having a little reception an hour before the board meeting tonight to honor the students who have their artwork displayed in our hallways. And that was a great event, so kudos to whoever had that idea, because it was just fun to see the students out there taking such pride in their artwork and having a chance to get a picture made with their families. So great idea. But I do want to just call the names of our art teachers, and maybe you could wave if we won't make you stand up here in the front. Unless you want to, we'd be happy to have you come up front. But so Jessica Basiari is not here tonight. She's the art teacher at Blue Ridge. Stan DeBose back there from Fair Oak Elementary. Claire Mooneyhan from James M. Brown is beside him. And then Elizabeth Bost is here, and she's going to speak in just a minute. She's at Kiwi Elementary. Mandy Nelson from Northside. And Jennifer Hindman from Orchard Park. Elizabeth Windley from Ravenel. Naomi Harris from Tomasi Salem Elementary School. Robin Bain from Wahala Elementary. And then Lauren Jarecki from Westminster is not here. They had a fine arts, something going on at the school, I think, fine arts tonight. So Mara Diaz from Seneca Middle School, Leslie McDonald from Walhalla Middle School, and Avis Ellis from West Oak Middle School. And then we only have one of our high school teachers here tonight. Shayna Steinert is not feeling well from Seneca High School, and Annie Burgess at West Oak High is also the basketball coach. So she's not here. But Tina Hunt is here from Wahala High. So we've got a good representation of our art teachers. We're so appreciative of them for what they add to our schools. And I'll just let Elizabeth share a couple of words. If you'll just come up a little bit, because the mics won't pick you up unless you're even take another couple of steps this way. That's good.
Well, on behalf of all of the art teachers in our district, we just wanted to say thank you for this opportunity to recognize our students in such a wonderful way, to see their art in frames and get their parents in here to see it and walk the halls and be a part of the district. We believe that art helps meet the needs of the whole child, and it is a wonderful opportunity to celebrate their talents in learning and connecting what we do in our regular classrooms and our fine arts classrooms and hooking it all together. A lot of connections are made that way when we have the opportunity to use our hands and our minds together. So we just really appreciate it. And we also appreciate our community support regularly from Duke Energy and regular places in the community who give us a chance to celebrate student artwork, and we're just real proud. So thank you.
And one more shout out. Stan and Robin are at the back. I introduced Stan just a minute ago, but I do want to thank them. End of the Road Studios is their art studio just out off of Bear Swamp Road, but they facilitated the organization. We've had artwork in this building for a long time, but it was kind of haphazard and disorganized for a while. Stan and Robin helped us get these nice frames and organize them by school, so kudos to them. And if you've not been to End of the Road Studios, y'all are missing a treat, so get out there and see that studio as well.
One more thing I forgot to mention, the zine we had, the pamphlet that our Elizabeth Lindley helped us fit on paper. So it has a lot to say about what we do and believe as well. So yeah, we have a great team and we love working together and we love working here. So thank you.
Thanks.
We appreciate it so much. And if any of you are in here tonight and you haven't walked around to look at all the art, it's just amazing. So I encourage you to do that before you leave the building. But again, thank you all so very, very much for all you do and for the organization of this tonight. A lot of people here. Thank you.
All right, our next visitors are Suzanne Merrill and Celeste Norris from A Call to Action Oconee. They're here to present the awards for our students who are winners in the Stand Up and Speak Out poster contest.
Thank y'all for letting us be here. I feel like Buddy the Elf. I looked up there and saw Megan and said, I know her! But thank y'all. Thank you, parents and children. We got some amazing posters. Thank you to the art teachers. That was amazing also. I walked around and looked at that. It was so good. You know, bullying is a huge issue in every school district. And I'm so grateful that Oconee is doing all that they can do
Ms.
to
Merrill,
prevent that.
can I get you about 3 steps back? That's good. These are microphones up above you, and that's what has to catch your voice. So there you
One
go.
more
That's
step is
good.
a trap door.
Simon says, 2
There
steps
you go.
back.
That's
Okay.
good.
But I thank Oconee County for bringing attention to the bullying problem that we have. And I thank you parents for helping your students with these posters, schools, art teachers, whomever. So, I'll just announce the winners as far as. First place for kindergarten, first grade, Hudson Bassey. And you guys can hold your applause till I'm finished. Second place, Autumn Bradley. Third place, Zoe Marie Strange. Second and third grade, first place, Sydney Alexander. Second place, Gracie Guthrie, and third place, Jack Stevenson.
See your pictures.
Have your picture on the certificate.
Behind them. All right, hold them up so I can see them. There we go. Good job.
Third place, Haven Hazlett. Second place, Katie McLean. And first place, Mallory Lynch. One step up and put tall people in the back. Get your picture of everybody. And the grand prize for the elementary school winner is Micah Doherty. Now, and Michael.
Hold your pictures up one more time. I want to see a picture.
Not in front of your little face.
Take your picture around here. One right here. Last one. Turn yours around. All right, don't have anything in front of you.
Poster. Okay, got there.
Good job, you guys.
Yes. Okay, the middle school winners, third place, I couldn't decide. So we've got two place winners, Addison Overholt and Paige Queen, third place. Second place, Ariella Isbell. First place, Riley Whitfield. And the grand prize for middle school is Marissa Fry.
Thank you. And thank you to all the students who took away prizes tonight. I'm very proud of you. All right, this time we have even more students. We're going to have school highlights from two of our Walhalla schools. First of all, and I don't know how you're doing this, Walhalla Elementary, Christy Hartsock is going to be here. She's the principal, Christy. And then Walhalla High School, Jennifer Crawford's principal, is going to also make a presentation about their school. We're very pleased to have you.
About right here.
That'd be good.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I brought with me Miss Kelly Anderson. She is the lead teacher of our student council. And these are four of our student council representatives. They're actually elected officials, and they are going to share a little bit about their position and some of the things they do with our community. So I've got Lawson Coop first. He's our president.
Hello, my name is Lawson King, and I am the student council president of Walhalla Elementary School. I wanted to serve in student council because I knew I was a leader and I wanted to help our school and serve others. My job as the president is to lead the meetings and oversee our student council projects. During the election process, us candidates wrote speeches and made posters to get votes. The student body, including 3rd, 4th, and 5th, then voted us into office.
Thank you. This is Kyle Kelly. He's our vice president.
Hi, I'm Kyle Kelly, and I'm the Vice President of Student Council. I wanted to be Vice President because I wanted to help my school be a better place. As Vice President, I assist the President in any activities or projects. I also help the school in many ways. One activity we did was when we made a float for the homecoming parade. As you might know, this year's theme was board games. Together we chose the game Battleship. We built the float like the setup of the game. We all had fun. It was an absolutely amazing time.
Thank you. This is Preston Crawford. He's our secretary.
Hi, my name is Preston Crawford. I'm the Walhalla Elementary Secretary for Student Council. I'll be talking about soccer. October was a fundraiser that we had here in Walhalla. We donated socks and gloves. We had a neon green box that said Socktober on it. That is what we donated. If you did not donate, it is fine. If you did donate, it is good. And it was very appreciated. We collected lots of socks and gloves for people.
And this is Sayla Hurst, our treasurer.
Hello, my name is Sayla Hurst, and I'm treasurer for Walhalla Elementary School. The reason I wanted this job to be my responsibility is I want school and community. This evening, I will be sharing how much money we have raised and how we plan to use it. As a group, we have raised $861.77 while doing projects the students before me have shared with me. As for upcoming projects, our most recent one will be for the Oconee Power. We will be raising money to give the animals food, toys, and other necessities. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, I'm just super proud of the
Yeah.
young leaders.
Super proud. I have the honor to supervise them twice a month, each month, and just watching them come out of their shell and become these leaders for the school and for, you know, their future. It's just amazing to see. I'm very proud of them.
Yes.
I appreciate all the parent support too. So
Yes.
thank you guys. They've got basketball games to run off to. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hartsock.
We're not sure which way to stand.
Whichever field, whichever field.
Okay.
Natural, okay, yes.
The camera will, is back
Oh, be
there.
pointing that
so,
way. Okay.
yeah, so we'll-
I'm Jennifer Crawford, and I'm the principal of Walhalla High School. First, thank y'all for allowing us to come in and share and showcase and just celebrate just one of the many great things that's going on at Walhalla High School this year. I have the pleasure of introducing Miss Amanda Gladys. Miss Gladys is our department head for our science department, and she is also our instructor for our Green Steps program. And these are members of our Green Steps program that are going to share with you some of the great things that they are doing for Walhalla High School. Ms. Gladys has been recognized locally and at the state level for her leadership and excellence in leadership and vision. And we are just so very lucky to have her as part of our faculty, but also all of the wonderful things that she is leading our students to do. So, I'm going to turn it over to
I will say, speaking in front of adults is very intimidating. So I do have a script just in case I struggle here. I do want to say thank you all for having us here tonight. We really appreciate your support. And then I want to start just by asking a question. How many of you guys have heard of Green Steps schools? And I would say that I would be in the majority where I had not heard about it up until 2016. Our current secretary randomly by chance put a flyer for the program in my teacher box, and the rest is history. So in short, to tell you a little bit about Green Steps, it's an environmental designation that a school can earn. And basically what the school has to do is establish and maintain sustainability projects, and also use a learn, do, teach format. And each project requires evidence of what students have learned, what they did, which is usually the fun part, it's the hands-on part, and then how they taught what they learned to others, which is typically the scary part that involves some public speaking. And then after 3 years, we have officially become a Green Step school. So it took about 3 years. I thought it was going to be an easy task, but it was a lot harder than I thought. And last year we were named State School of the Year, which was a huge accomplishment. And so just to tell you a little bit about our program as well, each project requires a mentor. And mentors help basically with the learn part of each project. And we worked really hard in the county to develop mentorships with Friends of Lake Kiwi, Keep Oconee Beautiful, DHEC, Conserving Carolina, Palmetto Pride, Oconee County Beekeeping Association, Oconee County Solid Waste and Recycling, Take Action Student Ambassadors for Sustainability, Master Gardeners of Oconee County, Clemson 4-H, and Clemson Center for Watershed Excellence. So it's a long list, and we're really proud of all of the partnerships that we've been able to develop in the community. And in addition to that, each project requires money. So I bought an envelope for anybody that wants to. Over the past 5 years, we've secured $5,000 in grants through DHEC's Champions of the Environment program, $6,000 from Friends of Lake Kiwi for Adopt a Stream equipment, and a $10,000 gift donation from the Cliffs for books, tools, and other projects. And we're really proud of that. Participating in this program has truly transformed my teaching practice, and I am forever thankful for the support from our district, my administration, and amazing students that are willing to participate in the program. And so each one of the students is here tonight to speak about one of our projects that we've done this year. This is Shelby. He's going to go first.
Good evening. My name is Shelby Henry, and I'm a sophomore at Walhalla High School. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. This year, I've had the opportunity to participate in the Green Steps program. Under the leadership of Ms. Gladys, I've gained knowledge and have developed skills through direct or hands-on experience in our natural resources here in Oconee County. To give you a better idea of how students have benefited from Green Steps this year, I'd like to share with you the purpose or goals of the class, those being to conserve, protect, and restore. Tonight, my main focus will be on the protect category, more specifically protecting water. Monthly, the Green Steps class goes to 3 different locations: Oconee Station, Sertoma Field, and our own backyard stream, William Street. At these destinations, we break up in groups and test the acidity, dissolved oxygen, conductivity, and bacteria in the stream. All Green Steps students have been Adopt a Stream certified, meaning that they have been trained and tested on their knowledge. In fact, recently we taught an environmental science class how to take water quality. I'm glad to state that overall most of our testing has come within the South Carolina state standards, meaning that all streams are healthy. Water protection and all the other big projects that we do as a Green Steps class is important to me because it ensures a safe and thriving world for us now and future Walhalla High School green steppers to come. I'm sure everyone associated with this program feels the same because it surely is a big Go Green family. Again, thank you for having me here to represent Ms. Gladys and the Green Steps class as a whole.
Peter Pfeiffer. I'm a sophomore from Walhalla High School. I'm very thankful that you guys are representing us tonight, and me and Ms. Gladys and the Green Steps class. One of the major projects that we took on this semester was building our own butterfly garden outside of the school. We started out with the learn part of the project. We split up into groups, and we each had to learn and develop a butterfly garden with specific flowers and plants to cater towards certain butterflies. We wanted to attract multiple different kinds. Then we actually did it. We went outside, we built way too many planters. Too long, it was stressful and just sucked. But we filled it with dirt, we implemented Google culture. It's not gonna make sense, but we took stuff from the woods, we put it in our planters so that we have decomposers and natural living things in our planters. And we filled it up with dirt, which also took way too long. It was also very stressful. Thank you, Ms. Roberts. And then we planted our plants. It's awesome seeing our plants and already getting to see a caterpillar on one of our plants, which is amazing. We didn't think that we would be able to see such improvement so quick. The last part is the learn part, which was right. We had people sign up for tours of our garden. We had to give multiple different people 10-minute tours of our garden, including Ms. Crawford. And yeah, that's basically it.
I'm Erin Fogarty. I'm a senior at Walhalla High School, and this was my first semester doing Green Steps. One of the projects that I had a lead role on was our upcycled planter extravaganza. And so basically we thought about how we can minimize waste in the lunchroom cafeteria. And so we did that by taking tin cans and milk jugs and turning them into planters, which then we invited students into Ms. Gladys's classroom so we could teach them about how to grow their own plants and also sustainability practices. Most of the tin cans and milk jugs would have just got thrown away, but we let them turn it into something new and productive. So we provided dirt and their own plants and a art supply so that they could decorate it, make it look really nice. And it was a really fun time, and I think a lot of the students learned everything. And by the end of 2 days, we had a really nice turnout, and we got rid of 20 planters that they all took home. It was a really nice program.
And we wanted to just end with Shelby's idea was to capture some of the waste from our lunchroom. We have a lot of fruit that oftentimes just gets thrown away, and so we take it from the share table, and she made some potpourri. So we have it here in the back if we'd like to offer it to board members.
Wow, that's nice.
And
Thank
or
you.
if there's any leftover, anybody in the general public. But we thought it was just one other way that we could, offset waste from being in the trash and turn it into something festive. So thank you again so much for having us. We really appreciate your support. To be able to teach such a non-traditional class in the district is really a gift. So again,
Thank y'all.
Dr. Thorson, do you see any potential board members amongst these young students?
Hey, maybe. That'd be great. Great.
Well, we certainly appreciate sending students and their families and our principals and instructors being with us tonight. It was a great night. And at this time, I'll ask for an approval of the agenda. We were sent that earlier, so if there are no objections, we'll approve the agenda for the December 12th, 2022 work session and regular meeting. Anybody see any changes? All right, then it'll be approved without objection. At this time, we have, I think we have 2 people signed up for public comment.
Henry Duncan. Kim Jackson.
My name is Kim Jackson, and I'm here to talk about the new homeschooling policy that's on the agenda. First, I wanted to congratulate the board on getting out a new policy so fast. I know it's not an easy thing to do. And it looks very positive in all respects, a lot of gains for us, except for one, and that was the fee for the orchestra and band classes. I noted that the sports classes during the day were not charged because they're essential to the player's success in the actual program, and it's the same for orchestra. I know that you're a sports guy, Dr. Thorsland, but not only does a player in the orchestra have to play with a full orchestra and a conductor in order to be able to participate in a regional and state audition, but also, according to the South Carolina Music Educators Association, Allison Key is the president for Strings Performance, all students have to have 1 credit per year in order to participate in the regional audition and state. And that's why my daughter has the credit from the fall, so she'll be representing Walhalla High School in January at the state audition. So this class is essential to the competitions. I was very excited when I first read it because it said we could do all county, the regional, and state. And then I recalled the conversation I had with the SCMEA, the Music Educators Association, and they said that you do have to have that 1 credit. So we're asking that the Fine Arts program receive the same treatment as the sports in the policy, and if band and orchestra can be added to the list of the no-fee classes with all the other requirements the same, that would be wonderful. And lastly, my daughter is, she's been taking violin classes since she was 5 years old. And there aren't a whole lot of violin instructors in Oconee County. Matter of fact, Leslie Warlick's about it. And she's full up. So she's going to be hosting a free public school student workshop in the spring for students at the middle school in conjunction with Heidi McKee over at Walhalla. And this was her idea. So it's just another example of how we can work together to encourage the arts for all students. So when you vote on the policy, if you would consider putting that in, that'd be great. Thank you for your time.
All right, and at this time, we have, again, you were sent earlier the minutes from the November 1st, 2022 special call board meeting, and also the minutes from the November 14th, 2022 combined board meeting. Did anybody see anything that needed to be changed, added, deleted? All right, if not, then those minutes from the 2 meetings stand approved with no objection. And as our first item, we have Don Estep here with us tonight to go over our 2022 audit.
Pardon.
As long as you get voting, we're good.
It's my pleasure to come again tonight and present the audit report for this year. The key thing that we always like to point out is because the audit opinion we issued again this year was what we consider to be an unmodified opinion. That means we did not have to modify our opinion for any discrepancies with generally accepted accounting principles. If we found something like that, we would have to modify our opinion. But we issued an unmodified opinion, which is considered a clean opinion. So once again, the school district did an excellent job in that aspect. We also issued 2 other reports in the audit report. If you look at the audit report, the main opinion letter is in the front, and way back in the back in the financial assistance section, there are 2 other audit reports. One of them is concerning internal control, and one of them is concerning compliance with federal programs. Both of those were also unmodified opinions, so we did not find any reason when doing our testing that we needed to modify either one of those opinions either. So that was a very good report. We didn't find any audit findings that needed to be reported in our report letters for internal control or compliance. So once again, there were no audit findings for the school district. Now, I know Gloria prepared a little summary report, and we'd just like to go over a few of the key numbers that are in the report. I've explained in the past that the first statement that you see in the audit report is a summary of everything that the school district does. The governmental activities consist of the general fund, the special revenue funds, the debt service, the building funds. All those funds get combined into one column at the front of the financial statements. And it's called the governmental activity column. The net position for all those funds added together this year actually improved by $19 million over the prior year. We're still showing a deficit because of the pension and I guess it'd be the health insurance, really, the other benefits that we offer retirees. Because of our part of the liability within the state plan, they allocate it out to all the entities that participate in state retirement or the state retiree health insurance. All that gets lumped together, and then they allocate a percentage to each governmental entity, and that's what makes it look like we have a deficit net position. But this year we actually had an improvement of $19 million, so our deficit this year is not as much as what it has been in the past. That business activity, that's just the food service fund for the school district. And it actually showed a positive net position this year. In the prior year, it showed a deficit in its net position, but it's got a positive net position. It actually increased by $2.6 million this year. So the total district actually improved its net position by $22 million. And net position, you can just think of it as all the assets, including buildings, minus all the liabilities, including your bond debt and everything. All that gets netted together to come up with your net position. The other item I would like to point out is the general fund budgetary comparison. If you'll notice, our local sources this year, we actually had about $6 million more than what we budgeted for. Brian, tell them kind of what made that up.
Basically, there was better collections at the county level, and there was also one-time payment from Duke Energy at the end of the year, which equaled about $2 to $3 million.
So we got a lot more money in from property taxes than what we thought we were going to get. The state sources, we also had an increase over what we had budgeted by $3.4 million. And I think the state actually increased the money they gave us this year, right?
Right, yeah, there was a lot of different smaller state grants.
Right. Now on the expenditure side, so just the general fund is all we're talking about here. We actually underspent the budget for instruction, but we overspent the budget for support. So the net of all that is we overspent our budget by about $705,000 when you netted everything together. Still had a net increase in our general fund balance, so I think the increase was about $9 million. If you look at I guess I could show you that's it. The local source comparison from one year to the next, our local source money actually increased 3.4 million, and the state sources increased 5.2 million when you compare fiscal year 22 to fiscal year 21. And if you look at the expenditure comparison, we actually decreased our expenditures in instruction by 273 from the prior year, and we increased our support services by 1.6 million. That next one is the entry I was telling you about before. We were talking about net position. This kind of details out the way this pension debt actually affects the financial statements. And you can see we have a column for the governmental funds and a column for the food service fund or the business type fund. And it just shows you how it changed from one year to the next, and what kind of effect it had on our net position. And the very last one was the other post-employment benefits that we have, like health insurance for retirees, and the same deal, the column for the governmental, column for the business type, and it shows all the effect that it had on our net position also. And I think that's about the only thing that I wanted to point out to you. Does anybody have any questions as far as the audit itself or any of the financial statements? I know it's a lot. If you start in the financial statements, it kind of builds from the back up to the front. You can trace the individual funds behind the notes to the summary statements that are in the front of the audit report. So if you ever get to looking for something, that's the way you would have to actually find the numbers that you're looking for. Does anybody have anything they would like to ask? We appreciate your staff helping us again this year. They've always been very helpful. I know we're kind of a burden on them when we come because it's extra work for them. They got to do their regular job, pull information for us and help us figure out things. So we've always appreciated working with your staff here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate what you do for us. And also appreciate Gloria and all that you've helped to get this together.
Yeah, I'm glad Gloria agreed to stay on and help with the audit because these numbers are really the ones that she dealt with. You know, Jay, I guess you started when did you start?
Officially July 1.
July 1, yeah. So most of this, I guess all of this was really Gloria's responsibility this year, but they do a good job.
They do. Thank you. We appreciate it. All right. Now, Dr. Thorsland, time for your report.
Yeah, just real quick, I first wanted to pass on some thanks. I've had numerous school district employees tell me thank you for the food trucks during American Education Week, as well as for the bonus. And I tried every time to say, I will pass your thanks along to the school board. I didn't want to take credit where credit was not due, but I've had seriously many employees express thanks for that. So I wanted to pass that on to you. And then just kind of let you know that Ms. Simmons and I have been meeting with different school faculties around the district for the past couple of months. We completed those meetings last week and have made some changes even based on feedback we got from some of those meetings. But those have been just a good opportunity for us to go speak with employees at the schools face-to-face. We get most of our information through principals. Principals will hear things in their buildings and then they'll come share things with us at principals meetings. But this was an opportunity for us to go hear directly from anyone who wanted to share information with us. So we've done that, and again, positive meetings, good feedback, and just a good opportunity to be in the schools and meet with our employees. That's really it.
Okay, thank you. And then Mr. Schickling, the November financial report.
Okay, so for November, we are looking at about $6 million in total revenue receipts. Majority of that is coming from state aid, and we are starting to see some local tax ramp its way up. So almost 40 or so % of our revenue this month was from that local, and we're going to see that increase quite a bit as we get into tax collections in January. On the expenditure side, again, primarily payroll expenses there as you look at disbursements being made. More than 2/3 or close to 2/3, I would say, of the total disbursements for the month are for Seneca Middle construction. So not a lot of spending activity there, primarily just payroll and staffing. I think that's it's relatively quiet, just regular programmed expenses. So, any questions that I can answer for you?
So I guess we're about where we're supposed to be at this point?
I would say so, yeah. I think we're trending very similar to last year. The results in terms of the expense side of the budget, and then some of the things that led to that fund balance that Mr. Estep spoke to would have been the one-time, influxes of revenue. So on the revenue side, that would remain to be seen, but in terms of what we budgeted, the bulk of that will come in January, and we'll see where we end up with the tax receipts.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. And at this time, Mrs. Simmons, the grading assessment systems update on that policy.
Yes, ma'am. We have, towards the bottom of page 6, one minor change that we are making there. We talked a lot about the importance of attendance in our school buildings in order to receive credit for courses. So we are taking out the and is unable to successfully make up the work or demonstrate proficiency in the course, and really focusing on the students' attendance. And we've talked a lot with our principals about that topic as well. And so we would like to, propose that possible change to the board tonight.
And the state did allow for proficiency-based courses several years back. We currently do not do proficiency-based, so that's language that we just need to kind of get updated with our practice. But we have heard over and over again from our local employers and even people representing higher ed that we need to teach students soft skills. And maybe the most important one is just be at work. And for us, that means be at school. So we need our students to understand that to be successful in school, you have to be there.
And parallels your work ethics.
That's right.
Absolutely. Okay, that's it.
So this would be to vote on January and then February to make. So if you do have questions between now and then, certainly we can talk about them again.
Very good. And now, the next discussion is on the homeschooling policy.
Yeah, and just to kind of update you from, I guess, the last conversation at the last meeting when Ms. Jackson spoke, we've met with a couple different folks, I guess, representing some of the homeschool community in the county. And in part of the discussion, we just realized we did need to update this policy for a couple of things that were in place that we just needed to update to get our policy updated to the current practice. One of those is ROTC, so I'm just going to kind of highlight the changes from the way the policy was to what I guess we're proposing. Junior ROTC is funded at about 50% from the federal government. And so we feel like we want to just open junior ROTC up to anyone who's of school age in the community. And that would be an example of a case where an extracurricular could very well require the course. If a student wanted to participate in the drill team or a flag corps, most of that practice or a lot of that practice could take place during the day in the class. So that would necessitate a student to be involved in an extracurricular way. They would most likely need to be in the class. But because of the funding coming from the federal government, we wanted to update that change. And then the PE classes, we do have some sport-specific PE classes. And I do know that there were one or two this year, and what Ms. Jackson referred to earlier, a class that would essentially be practice for that sport. So I'm just going to use a fourth period volleyball class where all of the girls on the varsity volleyball team are in that class fourth period. So essentially what happens is practice starts during the school day. If that is the case, which it happens very rarely, and the principals have told me it's not going to happen next year, that these sport-specific classes are actually going to be the semester when the sport does not occur. So, for example, if there was a baseball class at a high school, it would be in the fall, not the spring, because then they could just be working on individual skills, weight training, conditioning, that type thing. But if there were a sport-specific class offered fourth period during the season in which the sport competes, it would be kind of unreasonable to think that a student could participate in that sport if they weren't there for a portion of the practice that took place during the school day. So we wanted to make an exception for that. But if it would only be if that was being taught during the season, and then the student would come only for the season. They wouldn't be enrolled in the class and getting a credit. It would just the practice aspect of it. So those are two updates. And then one of the other concerns that was expressed at the last meeting was the fee being fairly substantial, and I won't deny that $500 is a fairly large fee for a class. I guess unless you compare it to before COVID, the cost for a college class would probably be comparable. But we are okay with offering an opportunity for a homeschool family that wanted to take that class to fill out a form. It wouldn't be the free and reduced lunch form exactly. It would be kind of a local form, but we could use the same numbers as free and reduced lunch, which governs so much of the fees that we charge in the school district. We could do the same thing for a homeschool family, and if they would qualify, just like our public school students would qualify, we could reduce the fee and then offer monthly payments as opposed to a one-time pay it up front. We could work with the financial aspect. So we would, I guess, just propose those changes to this policy to make it, a little more friendly. And again, I just want to reiterate that compared to our closest school district neighbors, we're more open to homeschoolers by even offering classes during the day. The AOP region, we're the only district that I'm aware of that even allows students in a homeschool situation to take classes in the school district. But we certainly will fully comply with the Equal Access Law, which governs the interscholastic and extracurricular activities. And what Ms. Jackson shared tonight about the requirement of having a credit to be able to participate in all-state fine arts programs. I had not heard that. I spoke to a couple of our fine arts teachers several weeks ago, and that was not shared with me, so I'll certainly check into that and try to glean any information I can about that. But those would be the recommendations for changes, and of course, you can.
I just have one question. It mentions performing arts, but it says nothing about visual arts. Are they not?
I guess the idea behind that is, You could participate in visual arts at home. Visual arts is by and large an individual activity, whereas performing arts, if you're gonna play the trumpet, you can't really play the trumpet in a band by yourself. I mean, you can learn to play the trumpet, but band is a group activity as a sport. Many of our sports are team sports. So I think that's kind of the idea behind performing arts versus visual arts. It's not to knock it, it's just that a homeschooler can do visual arts at home. Whereas if you want to play in a band, unless you have a really, really big homeschooling family, then you probably need to come to school.
We don't require students who are participating in sport to take a sport class. That's not a requirement.
No, it's not a requirement. It's not a requirement. Just the thought process would be in the scenario that I gave you, a fourth period volleyball class.
Right, I'm aware.
If all 12 of the girls, public
Right.
school girls, were in that class, it
It would
would,
be easy. I understand
be
that, but
harder
I just
for-
wanted to.
It's
make
not a
the point
requirement
That
at
it was
all.
not a requirement for you to be in the volleyball class if you're on the volleyball team, because certainly some of them wouldn't fit in their schedule.
that's exactly
So I
right.
just
And
wanted to
I
make
don't
sure
think
that-
we've had that scenario this year where every player was in the class.
Right, I just wanted to make that point.
That's a good point. So just like the previous policy, this would be one that would come to you for approval in January, and then final approval would be in February. So any changes that you would like to see made can be made between now and then. And then finally, the other policy that we wanted to bring tonight, the state has a parental leave policy for state employees. School district employees in South Carolina are not considered state employees. While we get some of the perks of, state benefits, we're not considered state employees. A couple of districts around the state have opted to do a parental leave policy, and we talked about it, and we just feel like it would be a good thing. And if you look behind you at our mission statement, it says to partner with families. Families are often about children. We're a child-centered organization, and we think it's time to have a parental leave policy in Oconee County, which would, for mothers that have birth or for adoptions of children that are below 12 months of age, it would be 6 weeks of leave. And then there's also for the non-primary caregiver parent, which would often, in most cases be a father. There's some time off there as well. We just think that that's a good thing. Mr. Leroy and Ms. Waring think it will be a good recruiting tool for us, because so many of school district employees are young ladies who could be of childbearing age. And we think this would be something that could help us recruit. Our goal with this policy was to allow a mother 6 weeks of leave without having to give up any salary. And often, mothers that have babies in school, they haven't worked long enough to build up their leave so that they have enough personal leave to take or annual leave to take. And this would take that off the table, and we just think it would be a good step forward for our district. You can see we already have policy GCC and GCD. This would be added to the existing leave policy, so I think I put on the potential new family leave policy. It's really updating an existing policy with new parts. But there are a lot of nuances in there that we've spent a lot of time talking. I want to thank Ms. Bay and Ms. Dodd for looking into this a lot and looking up policies from other places. And as we've talked through it, just, how you give leave. And, we've even got fostering in here as well. Because even if you foster a teenager, there are going to be appointments and going and getting paperwork done at doctor's offices and dentist offices. And we tried to honor, I think we tried to honor the family with this policy is the bottom line. And we're appreciative of families in the community, and we want to honor the families of our employees. And we think this policy is a good first step that way. So the link was not active when we sent the agenda out tonight. We did share it with principals last Wednesday, but we wanted you guys to see it before we made the link active for everyone else in the community to see it. But that'll be in the, I think, the minutes of tonight's meeting. Ms. Bay can activate this policy, and we'd love for you to read it and consider it and talk to people. And you know, we'd love to be able to say after our February meeting that starting July 1st, we would have a parental leave policy, and that's what the recommendation is, not to start midstream this year, but to start this July 1st. And I guess one thing I just want to point out, as we've talked through it, because this is pretty important, we want, what we're recommending is not just 30 bonus days of leave. We're saying 6 weeks from the time that a mother gives birth. So in some ways, somebody could look at it as unlucky if a baby's born on June 2nd. Because then leave wouldn't apply because you're off in the summer and you're not having to use your leave to be off at that time. If someone gave birth September 1st, they're probably going to get close to 30 days of leave because of the time of the year. We just feel like that's probably the best way to do this, since our goal is to keep people's salary whole and not cause them to use their leave days. So that's kind of the angle we took with this. And happy to answer any questions, let you digest it, and we can talk about it at the next meeting too.
Anybody have any questions tonight? Just gonna look over it and we'll have further conversation on it then.
I do agree that I think this is good for families.
And I think your point about it including till, I think that's certainly something. That would be great. All right. If there's no more questions on that, then we do have one action item tonight, and that's the approval of local board approved courses. Mrs. Simmons?
In our last month's meeting, we went over 4 local board approved courses we have up for the 23-24 school year. Last year, you all approved the honors yearbook editors, the first level. So we would like to add level 2, 3, and 4 to continue to build on those leadership skills with our editors within our yearbook classes, getting them to be more independent with those particular skills that they're learning in those courses. And then our 4th class is our JROTC STEM, which is a brand new class that integrates a lot of STEM labs within the curriculum and also experiences with drones, which is also a big part of the syllabus for the course. The schools will not have to pay for any of the materials. The Army supplies all of those for the schools. I think it'd be a great opportunity for our students to have that as an additional course to participate in.
Okay, anyone have any questions about those? All right, so we've heard the presentation, we've seen the paperwork. If someone could make a motion that we approve the 4 local board approved courses that have been proposed.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the 4 local board courses that have been proposed.
Second. Any questions at all? All in favor? Very good, thank you. And then we've set aside time for any board member comments. If anyone has anything they would like to say pertaining to anything of the meeting tonight.
I'd just like to say thank you to the art teachers.
Yes, absolutely.
Fine arts, in my opinion, is a vital part of our program and what our children get, our students get in the schools. And while I'm speaking, I would like to give a shout out to someone who is no longer with us, who was big in getting our fine arts started in this county years ago, and that was Mr. Jim Brown. He really put forth an effort to support the fine arts in this county. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Anyone else?
I guess with that, I would like to say thank you to Miss Merrill and the group for doing that campaign of anti-bullying and just bringing awareness to our younger children, because really it does start so much younger, and they see things, they're watching adults, and they're watching all of us. They're watching everybody on their phones and in public places, at home, and it truly does start at home. And so I want to thank that group for doing what they're doing.
Well, it's just been a great night having so many students in here, and again, the idea of having the students and their families here tonight for the art show was just, it was amazing. It was really great. I could not believe when I pulled up at 5 o'clock how many people were here. It was great for you to do that, and we really do appreciate it. And the artwork is just amazing. And you know, it's like Buddy said, it's just such an important part of children, because anybody can be creative and they never know it, but you just bring it out of them, and it's really wonderful. So we appreciate all that y'all do in our schools. We really do. Anyone else? All right, at this time then, our open meeting is over, and I will accept a motion for us to go into executive session for personnel items and employment changes and recommendations.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. And again, we appreciate all of you being here tonight. It's been a great meeting and a great way for us to start the holiday